I'm Jamie Labella, and this is 4 for 4 Tech, where we discuss 4 tech topics in just 4 minutes. Apple is back in the game. The tech giant is rejoining the Black Friday fray with a one-day shopping event. James, what should buyers expect?
I think we're going to see some big products on offer here. You know, obviously Apple sat out Black Friday last year, but it's had a very, very busy few months. You know, we've got the iPhone 7, the new Apple Watches. There's an advert for the Apple Watch in the post on Apple's website advertising this. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be a big one for this. They're looking to capitalize on, like, this eventful few months.
But, Chris, they haven't done it since 2014, so why the change of heart?
You know, Apple's promised investors revenue growth since we haven't, we've seen a steady decline in the sales for iPhone. So I think that's one of the reasons why they're coming back. And the market has become so much more competitive right now in the smartphone space. So I think that's another reason they have to be back doing it.
Jen, what are the chances we see an Apple Watch or a phone?
We're definitely going to see an Apple Watch because they teased with the Apple Watch. Last time they offered deals, they didn't offer deals on hardware. But I do think that we're going to see deals on the iPhone 7 because there's actually a link near the bottom that brings you to package holiday deals, and right now it's linking directly to the iPhone 7 site. So we don't know what those deals are going to be, but it could be good.
James, is there any chance that it could be the EarPod or the iPod buds?
I think it could be AirPods, because as Jen says, accessories are often a big deal for them on previous Black Friday, so this could be the same.
Oh, wait to find out, guys. Well, speaking of changing the game, Donald Trump is changing it, too. He's taking to YouTube to outline his plan for the first 100 days in office, bypassing the traditional press conference. Jen, what message does this send to the media?
This is him saying, I'm not worried about you, I'm not going to rely on you, and we know he had a meeting with a bunch of media executives earlier this week and pretty much said the same thing, that, you know what, I don't like the way that you have covered me and you were wrong. So I think that we're going to increasingly be used to him using YouTube and going directly to Twitter and Facebook for his messages.
Given Trump's past reputation with the press, are you surprised, James?
No, I'm not surprised, but I would like to see a combination of these two things. I think it's good that you kind of have this dialogue that press conferences offer, whereas YouTube is just kind of a one-way communication. That said, I do think it's a good way of getting messages out there. I think there's a lot of people who may not even pick up the press conference who will be clicking on that YouTube link, but I'd like to see both.
Chris, let's talk about the effectiveness of a YouTube post. Did you find his message effective?
Absolutely. I found it incredibly effective. I think Donald Trump is really doing a lot with his administration in terms of moving social media forward. I mean, based on what he just did here, he completely cut out the press. And honestly, who needs traditional media when you have over 15 million Twitter followers? And that's what he's showing. I mean, this is the stuff that media relations textbooks really write about.
Well, he's really just trying to get his word out there, guys. It's a day.
I fear it.
Moving now to selfie-related deaths, and they're on the rise around the world, according to researchers at Carnegie Mellon University. Chris, tell us about the study.
Okay, so this study, instead of selfies, they are now called kelfies, where you're literally dying in the process of taking a selfie, which is just unbelievable. And I also feel like it showed that narcissism has reached a new level in our country if we're dying for a photo. So in this study, over 127 people over a 29-month period actually died from taking kelfies. And what they showed is actually that men were more at risk, over 76% of men were more at risk of taking these dangerous selfies. And the trend is actually taking them in front of train tracks. Apparently that shows a sign of friendship.
James, can you believe men are more at risk?
Look, I'm partial to the occasional selfie, but I've never stood in front of a train to take one, so I don't know. I mean, look, it's great that we have this technology, but there's something about the selfie that's just taking us into very, very strange territory. The train tracks, I just don't get that. I don't understand it.
Jen, did it surprise you?
No. You know why? Because this has been happening for the last several years, ever since we got front-facing cameras. And as somebody who travels a lot and does a lot of extreme sports, I've seen people do silly things just to get a cool shot and impress their friends, and we're pushing it too far.
Was it worth it in the end? Not really, if you ask me. Well, bridging the language divide with the help of technology, of course, Panasonic's multilingual megaphone can instantly translate Japanese into English, Chinese, and Korean as you speak into it. Jen, how does it work?
It's pretty cool. You speak into it right now, and then it automatically translates that into a couple different languages. Right now, it's really operating off of a few key phrases, and so you can think of a way that this would benefit you is, say you're in an airport or a train station and you're trying to get people to line up in a certain way, get in a single file line, and you can shout that across multiple languages. Of course, it's not going to be a total conversation tool, but it's a process.
Airports, train stations, the 2020 Olympics.
Exactly. I think it's really useful. You've all seen these pictures of really packed Tokyo subway stations, you know, where there's a need for really good crowd control for safety reasons. And yet with the Olympics coming up, visitors from all over the world, I think it's a brilliant idea.
Kris, do you agree?
I agree, and I actually think that this is great for a traditional corporate traveler, right? So this should be on your holiday wish list for that if you're traveling all the time. What better gift than that?
I mean, James, would you buy it?
It would have to be kind of condensed into a smaller form. Like I could imagine a small handheld. I mean, I'm not that shouty that I need a megaphone to conduct most of my conversation.
And then you in the background trying to, hello, I'm here.
But the core technology, I could see a use for that.
I just hope it doesn't ruin the very connectiveness we feel when we learn another language and that personal feeling we get when we meet other people from different countries around the world. Well, now you know what we think. Tell us what you think using the hashtag 4for4Tech. I feel like James walking around.